All right, Brandon, what day is it?
Monday.
Monday what?
3rd.
November 4th? 3rd?
Let's try this again.
Try it again.
4th.
November 4th. Brandon, what should I talk to YouTube about today?
Talk about growth, man.
Growth?
Yeah, it's been a year almost.
Woo! That could be a good topic. Hopefully
We're about to get hit by a bus.
We're about to get hit by a bus. It's gonna happen. So you want to talk about growth?
Yeah.
What about growth though?
How you have to change and grow.
You have to change and grow?
Yeah. So like me a year ago, right? I could barely pick up the phone. Barely speak to people on the phone.
Yeah.
You know, wasn't making any money, like zero money.
Yeah.
Just growing, man.
Now you're making some money.
Yeah.
Now you're picking up the phones. Okay, let's talk about growth. All right, so let's talk about growth. I know a little bit about growth. Growth and I, we've been really good friends over the last couple of years, and I'll be honest with you, I hate my friend growth. Growth is the thing that how are you supposed to grow all the time? It's just so hard to grow. You know, when you're a kid, you're having like growing pains because like your legs are growing. I can't really relate to that because I'm short, but I do remember having some like actual growing pains where your body is just stretching itself out and you're growing, you're like getting taller and like things are happening, or you're in the gym and you're like growing muscles. Like it's not easy. You're lifting up heavy weights, you're doing a bunch of work, you're sweating, you're like sore the next day, and then the next day like your other body parts are sore if you're consistent in the gym. And so in business, in sales, in entrepreneurship, growth is that thing that sucks, and that's why so many people don't do it, and that's why there's a 99% and that's why there's a 1%. Growth can really be divided across all these different areas in your life, whether you're chasing some spiritual growth, or you're chasing financial growth, or you're chasing growth in your own just personal development, or your own personal mental health, or whatever it is. There's several areas in your life that you're going to need to grow, and all of it is going to be painful, and it's all gonna take some time. But more specifically, I'm here to talk about sales, and I'm here to talk about business. And so my guy Brandon earlier, he was talking about growing, and I mean, Brandon has grown so much over the last year. It's been insane to watch, because when he came in, he didn't really have any inside sales experience. He's never really been on the phone like cold calling people, or like dealing with rejection, or overcoming objections, or closing deals over the phone and using like screen shares to like present to people. He's never done any of this. And so all of it was very, I'm sure, not comfortable for him. I'm sure that all of it was kind of like hard to like figure out. And so I've had to kind of hold his hand through it because I've been there. And so I'm able to take him with me and help him grow. But honestly, he's been the one that has to do all the work. So my idea of a good time is to actually speak to you guys about the 5 things that I know about growth, and basically 5 tips or 5 takeaways or 5 actionable items you can use in your own life to grow. The very first thing that you should probably do is make the decision to grow. Whether you're growing muscles or growing your bank account or growing your business, you should probably first make the decision to grow, and then obviously figure out what that target is, what that goal is. Are you trying to put on an extra 20 pounds of lean muscle mass? Are you trying to accumulate your first $100,000 in the bank? Are you trying to make sure that your business is profitable in under 2 years, or whatever that target is? Make sure that you are able to set a target or a goal according to your growth, or else growth it's just like, I'm gonna grow, and you don't want that, because that's just not the way that it works. The second thing you're gonna wanna do is develop some awareness on the fact that it is going to take time to grow. There is no overnight successes. There is no like, I'm gonna do like 5 push-ups or like lift the dumbbell like 5 times and like my biceps are gonna grow. There is no, I'm gonna just show up to work for the next 6 months and all of a sudden, boom, I'm gonna have 100 grand in my bank. I mean, that might actually happen, but you know what I'm saying. In any area of your life in which you are trying to grow, you have to understand it is going to take time, and you have to have the awareness that you will fail many times while you are growing. That's just the way this thing works out, because you've never done the things that you're trying to accomplish. That's why growth is so hard. It's because you've never actually done it before, which leads me to point number 3. Point number 3 is to find a mentor or a group of mentors that have already accomplished the things that you want to do and have already accumulated the type of growth that you're trying to experience in your own life. The reason why it's so important to find a mentor or even a group of mentors or people that you can learn from that have accomplished what you want to accomplish is because they will be able to, and probably willing, to take you under their wing and share with you some of the failures they've experienced, and when you get to that point, what you can do to avoid experiencing failure in those areas. Personally, here at Sales Domination System, I have a very close friend of mine that I would consider not only just a friend, but also a mentor that has recently sold his own SaaS company for over 9 figures. So why wouldn't I take advice from this guy? Why wouldn't I actually follow directions? Why wouldn't I take correction from this person? Why wouldn't I go out of my way to say, hey man, I have a question about this one thing, or hey, I'm having a struggle in this area. How do I overcome it? This is the person that actually picks up the phone or will write a decently long email to help address some of the issues that I'm having in my business so that I can continue to grow. So do yourself a favor, go find a mentor, go find somebody that has accomplished what it is that you're trying to do. If you're trying to climb a mountain, you might not want to take advice from me because I've never climbed a mountain. There's literally not one thing that I can tell you about climbing a mountain. What you might want to do is consider talking to somebody that's climbed a mountain, or specifically the mountain that you are trying to climb. They're going to be able to tell you what type of gear you need. They're going to tell you how the environment is. They're going to tell you where like different cool places are that you can hang on by your fingernails and make it to the top of the mountain. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Now that you found a mentor or a group of people that can actually share with you their experiences on the way to your goal, the next thing you have to do is you have to execute over and over and over and over again. The fourth thing that you have to do is you have to fail a lot. And you have to be comfortable with this failure because you have to understand that failure are the lessons. So the fourth thing that you need to do is you need to execute and fail. You cannot get to where you are trying to go without lessons. And failures are just lessons. You can either look at a failure as a failure, and that's if you quit and you're lame and weak, or you can fail over and over again, start learning and accumulating knowledge and wisdom with regard to where you're trying to go. And that's what I would recommend doing, is just look at a failure as a lesson. I know this is kind of cliche, but some of you still don't get it. As a salesperson with 18 years of experience, I have failed more times than I've actually succeeded. I have been rejected more times than I've gotten a deal. I've gotten more no's than I've gotten yeses, and every single one of those no's are the things that allow me to learn from what it is that I'm doing so that I can do things differently, so that I can tweak my approach, so that I can change what I'm doing, so that I can, next time I face this challenge, I can succeed. In fact, one of the characteristics I think has probably propelled me to experience the success that I have experienced in my life is the fact that I love failing. I don't mind getting a no. I don't mind getting rejected. I don't mind when something just flops over and falls apart and dies. That's okay. It's fine to fail. And I actually enjoy failing because it means that I get to learn something. It means that I get to grow. And again, so many of you guys need to have a massive amount of attention on developing a pleasure center when something goes wrong. Edison, man, he did 1,000 light bulbs, 1,000. So yes, use no's, use rejection, use failure as an opportunity to learn so that you don't have to always bang your head up against the same wall when things go wrong or when the same thing happens. You just know what to do, you're dialed in, and you're ready to dominate. The fifth and final thing that you can do to continue growing is to never stop growing. Make the decision to always be growing. Every single time that you start feeling a little bit comfortable and you're good, you should be actively looking for that next thing that scares the living shit out of you. In my own personal life, I had a sales job in Miami. I was making close to $500,000 a year. I was comfortable. I could do whatever I wanted to do. I could eat wherever I wanted to. I could buy basically whatever I wanted to. Obviously, there's levels to this, but what I'm saying is I was very, very comfortable in that sales position. And when I started getting too comfortable, I started getting that feeling in my chest when it was time to go back into the office every single morning. I'd sit in my car, my dream car, and I would just sit there and I'd be like, man, I'm not growing here. This is becoming redundant. This is getting old. This is something that I really know how to do extremely well. I think it's time to level up. I think it's time to suffer. I think it's time to struggle. And I think it's time to fail so that I can continue to learn, so that I can continue to grow. And now, 2.5 years later, I'm finally starting to reap the benefits of that decision. It's been 2.5 years of pain. It's been 2.5 years of losing money. It's been 2.5 years of losing friends. It's been 2.5 years of having to read a lot of books. It's been 2.5 years of those books not being the books that I really needed, so I need to go buy new books on leadership and on management and on business and all the other things that I need to grow in. One of the things that I'm most excited about with this company, Sales Domination System, is that there is an endless opportunity for me to grow here in this role. As more employees come in, I have to get better at management. As there's more employees, I have to become better at hiring people that can actually manage those people. I need to come up with different plans and processes and procedures. I need to do a lot of things right to make sure that this business is executing on its potential and that it actually does grow. Obviously, as a salesperson, I'm most comfortable when I'm on the phone or I'm doing something sales related, but there's so much in this business that isn't just sales. It's not just being on the phone with somebody. It's not just closing a deal. It's not just overcoming an objection. There is so much to get right. And look, I don't really have anybody here in my office leaning over my shoulder telling me how this thing is done, but luckily, I've made the decision to grow. Luckily, I've understood that it's going to take some time to get this rocket ship off the ground and get to the goals and get to the targets that I actually want to get. Luckily for myself, I've recognized that I need a mentor. Luckily, I have one. I'm blessed and grateful to have people that I can connect with on a regular basis to help answer questions and help kind of drag me along through the process, whether I like it or not. Luckily for me, I understand that I'm gonna have to execute over and over and over again. Luckily, I understand I'm gonna have to show up here every single day. Luckily, I love no's, rejection, and failure so that I can continue learning lessons and continue growing. And luckily, I'm in a business, I'm in a role, I'm in a position where growth is imminent and something that will always be around for me. It's not something I can ever get comfortable doing because there's always time to innovate. There's always time to close. There's always time to nurture others. There's always time to be nurtured. There's always new people to hire. There's always something to work on. And that is what I love about this business. That is what I love about my role. That is what I love about this life. So do yourself a favor and stop chasing comfort. Stop chasing things that make you not scared. Stop chasing things that don't serve your growth. And my bonus tip here is to stay the away from people who aren't growing themselves. You have to be away from those people. If they're not growing, guess who's not gonna grow? You're not going to grow. You're not going to establish anything in your life outside of what they've been able to establish. If you surround yourself with a bunch of people that do the exact same thing their entire life and they're not growing and they're not trying to reach new goals or new heights, guess what? You're not going to grow either. You need to stay away from people that aren't growing themselves because I just explained that, so forget about it. Growth is hard. Growth is a little bit scary. It should make you feel a little anxious in the chest. It should kind of keep you up at night, but I promise you, if you do these 5 things, you'll get through it, you'll be able to hit some pieces of your potential, and you'll start to be able to get to where you want to go. And with that, that's all the time I got. It's gonna be a big day here at the office. I'm excited for it. Let's grow!